Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom, and welcome to the Big Honker podcast brought to you by Stanfield Hunting Outfitters. I'm Jeff Stanfield with the world famous Andy Shaver. Go ahead and fucking laugh, Andy.
What a lovely day.
Oh, it's the day from hell. The morning from hell.
First world problems.
It is. That's exactly what it is.
First world problems. You got this shiny new computer and you're throwing a temper tantrum because you forgot your password.
I set it up this morning.
First world problem. That's like getting into your new Chevy pickup and not
losing your keys,
or just can't figure out how to turn your seat warmer off or something like that. Your butt's too hot.
Mom's new vehicle about 3 vehicles ago. We're driving down the road between Dallas and Little Rock, and I look down and I'm going 80, 85 probably, and the flasher light's going on. People getting out of the way.
Yeah. Oh, right. I think I remember this story.
I couldn't figure out where the fucking flasher was. We looked all over for some bitch sitting right on the dash.
Right on top.
And I couldn't find it. I looked everywhere. I'm like, Michelle, it's got, I said, look up the owner's manual. Then telling your mom to look up something is almost impossible.
It's a rough life.
Rough life. My laptop's been going out, so I bought me a new MacBook yesterday.
It looks like a really good new computer.
Yeah. I used it this morning. I used it this morning in the house. It was excellent. So
it's fucking paperweight right now.
I wanted to look up a bunch of stuff for the Did You Know, or the World on Fire today that I wanted to talk about. And I tried to change my iCloud or to a new iCloud from my old phone to a new one because my old iCloud email I lost about 3 phones ago. So now I can't get into my it's just, I don't even know what to do. If I have to take this back to the Geek Squad, and then this is what sucks is the guy goes, you want that Geek Squad protection that's good for 2 years? I said, how much is it? $200. I said, nah, I don't ever need that shit.
No, fuck that. We don't need that.
Now I got to go back and talk to a guy.
I can't believe that you can't just reset your password.
I can't get in the computer to do it. I'm trying. It's just spinning wheel. And you know why? Probably because I don't have no Wi-Fi.
Oh, you haven't set up the Wi-Fi yet?
No, I did at the house.
But not here?
No, I can't do it because I don't have...
Huh.
That's what the fucking problem is. I ain't got no Wi-Fi in here.
Huh. Oh, wow. They even changed the charging ports and everything.
Yeah,
huh?
I don't like that. I like the old one because it worked on my phone and everything else.
Why don't you like that?
Because it's not compatible with my other ones I have.
Will these not charge? Will those not charge?
I don't know. I ain't had the damn thing long enough to see.
You hadn't had it long enough. You had it long enough to lose the password, though.
I don't even know what I did. Oh, God, this is such a pain in the ass.
I
don't either, Andy.
You can't have, but if you're like me, you got like 2 passwords.
It's my regular password I use on everything.
Did you have the cap lock on?
I've done everything. I've taken caps off. I've put caps on. I've done everything at all, and it ain't working.
Well, listen, I'm not the one that lost your password.
No,
so
but Tony's video.
Don't get ugly with me.
Tony thinks it's funny. You're laughing, and you think it's funny.
I'm not laughing.
Oh, bullshit, you do too.
I just don't know how.
So
don't know how we got here.
I get to the lodge this morning. They're working on our pool at the house, and the dogs race hell all day. So then Michelle, you know how that goes.
Oh, boy, working on the pool, huh? So, you just want to keep bitching?
So Michelle, I take the dogs to work today with me, which on podcast days I usually don't because they bark a lot. Amos is an asshole.
Take a dog to work day.
So I took both of them to work. Well, I let them out the lodge, go to the bathroom. They're going running around doing stuff. I had to kind of watch Amos because he don't always come back good. Ollie always come back. Amos comes right back. Ollie can't find Ollie. I look over at Ollie, and Ollie's on the other side of the fence in the CRP field, and he's rolling all over backwards, looking at me and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? First thing come to my mind is that son of a bitch found a dead skunk. I was like, God, this is going to stink. Oh, no, it's not a dead skunk. It's a dead pig that's rotted. And now he smells like a rotten-ass dead pig. So now I got to take him home and give him a bath because I got good clothes on here, and I don't want to do that with good clothes on. But
I wonder why they do that.
I don't. Why do you want to smell like fucking nasty ass?
Unless
pig?
maybe like it goes back to like maybe it camouflages their scent a little bit whenever they had to hunt for their food. But I've never understood why animals go and roll around in that shit.
I don't either.
What do you think about them bringing the direwolf back?
What? Okay, I saw that.
10,000 years this world has been without the direwolf.
I seen a bunch of people griping on Threads yesterday, which are liberals, because they said we're against new technology and we can't do nothing to find cancer, but we're going to do something for the wolves. Well, I got news for you. All the people on our side of the aisle want to cure for cancer also.
I think everybody does.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's nothing new. I'd look it up on my computer, but I don't have a computer that works.
Right.
You pull that up. I'm gonna go get my old computer.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. You got 2 computers, huh?
Yep.
Boy, howdy. That's shitting in high cotton right there.
You do too.
I don't have 2 computers.
You will, because you're fixing to have to get a new one also.
Maybe when this one goes out.
Well, mine was 7 years old. That's old for a MacBook.
Is it? I don't know.
I've had 4 over the last 20-something years.
Wow.
Great computers.
Man, I just can't believe.
You're so full of shit. There's people buy one every 2 years.
Wow. You got two MacBooks. That's something.
I got 4 of them.
Whew.
They don't work. The other two.
So here's what's cool about it
Scientists
all.
have brought back the dire wolf after 12,000 years.
Like
Colossal
that's
Biosciences, a genetic engineering
I just
company.
wanted the video. I just wanted the video. I don't want
made
your
history by-
I don't want your commentary. But what's pretty cool, and I didn't think about it this way, was the fact that this was the first howl of the dire wolf in 10,000 years.
That's the first house. So this is actually a dire wolf.
Yeah, that's them right there.
Now, how did they do this? Did they clone something or what going on?
Yeah. So remember when we had
We talked about the
woolly mammoth?
The woolly mammoth. So that's the same technology.
Same thing.
Where did they come up with a dire wolf? Did they find one in a?
I guess they found enough. Yeah, there it is right over there. So there's the timeline. 2025 dire wolf. 2029 they want the dodo bird back. 2035 the Tasmanian tiger, which we talked to Phil Ovretsky about, and then 2050 the woolly mammoth.
2050,
there's the
23
timeline.
years. Fuck, not gonna make it. I will be. I'm gonna live to be 88. I figure we have a lot of longevity in our family, but even more of these computer fucking days, I'm gonna have a heart attack and die.
It's just crazy that that's the first howl of a dire wolf in 10,000 years on Earth.
I want to know the story on the dire wolf now. That's very interesting to me. And I saw something on it the other day, and it was and I thought they were bitching because they were trying to bring it back. I didn't realize
They got it back. That's Remus and Romus or something like that.
How much do you think they sell for?
I don't think that they're going to sell.
Everything's got a price tag.
I don't think these do.
They're gonna make more of them. It'll be a couple of years, and that'll be the new Labradoodle. Everybody have dire wolves.
Everybody have a dire wolf. The motherfuckers went extinct for a reason. And I don't know if with them being white, I got to assume
It was snowy.
I have not done my research on the dire wolf, so I'm not a dire wolf expert, but I got to imagine it was much cooler whenever they roamed this earth. So I don't know if it was
125 to 10,000 years ago.
Was when they roamed. Right.
Dire wolf remains have been found across a broad range of habitats, including plains, grasslands, and some forested mountain areas of North America and the arid savanna of South America. The sites range in elevation from sea level to 7,400 feet. Dire wolf fossils have rarely been found north of 42 north longitude. There have only been 5 unconfirmed records above this latitude. The range restriction is thought to be due to temperature, prey, or habitat limitations imposed by proximity to the Laurentide and Cordilleran, ice sheets that existed at the time. Size of a gray wolf on average of 132 pounds.
That's not what I see right here. It says right there, 25% larger than the modern day gray wolf.
Well,
they have a more massive skull, a smaller brain. That's probably why they didn't fucking make it. The gray wolf is leaner and more agile. Dire wolf, 125 to 175 pounds, where the gray wolf is 66 to 144 pounds.
I think these that they come out of this one come out of Ohio is where they found them, I think.
Remus and Romulus. So I'm assuming those are 2 boys. I don't know how they're going to make more. Should have made a woman. They want this to keep going on. But I saw they're like 7.5 feet long. Like a foot taller and a foot longer than the gray wolf. So I don't know. They might have just ran out of resources.
2 males, Romulus and Remus, and 1 female, Khaleesi.
She didn't make it.
They didn't say that.
Oh, I thought they only had 2.
Earlier this week, Dallas-based Colossal Biosciences, we're going to try to see if we can get them on the podcast, announced it has successfully resurrected the dire wolf, a canine species that once roamed North America and went extinct over 12,500 years ago. So it's not 10,000, 12,500. The company alleged that it has birthed 3 dire wolves, 2 males and 1 female.
Okay.
This is our first true de-extinction, and it's the first time the world's ever had an extinct animal back on the planet, which I think is pretty interesting.
I do too.
As a Texas company, it's insane that we were able to do this. The team did it within 18 months.
Wow.
We took a 13,000-year-old to 73,000-year-old skull and made puppies.
That's just crazy. I don't know. Part of me is like
Playing God,
we're playing God a little bit here.
Yeah.
And that's
That's very
You know, I mean,
It's on Game of Thrones. They talk about them.
the direwolf. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. There's actually a picture of them on the actual throne from Game of Thrones.
Who's the first person to pay to get one of these in their trophy room?
Direwolf, Game of Thrones. I don't think it's happening. I think they're taking this to heart, protecting them pretty well. Yeah, they ran around with that guy. I don't remember his name from Game of Thrones, but it's a good show.
I've never seen it, but the little guy that's in it's a pretty good actor. A little sawed off guy.
Yeah, I'm just wondering because I know Khaleesi is from Game of Thrones. I don't know about Remus and Romulus. I don't know if that's how they named them.
Okay.
Khaleesi is the hot blonde. Shows her knockers in the first season.
Yeah, I saw that. That was the best part of the show, I thought.
I can't find the picture.
Okay, here's what happened. They got a skull. They found they got a tooth that was 13,000 years old. Was found in Ohio. Mm-hmm. They got a 72,000-year-old skull from Idaho. Inside the skull is the Petrous, Petrous, P-E-T-R-O-U-S, or inner ear bone, which is a good source of well-preserved DNA. From the two specimens, the colossal team recovered enough DNA to create 2 direwolf genomes to compare with other canid species, including coyotes, jackals, D-holes, whatever that is. I know some A-holes, but I don't need D-holes, and other wolves. Using the genetic data, researchers could confirm the gray wolf as the closest living relative of the direwolf. They share 99.5% of the DNA code. They fertilized direwolf eggs. Fertilized direwolf eggs were implanted into and born by surrogate dog mothers. 2 litters have led to a pair of males, now 6 months old, and a female Khaleesi born in January. These newcomers are not 100% exactly the same direwolf that roamed the earth ages ago, but look at genetically close as cutting-edge technology could get. So someone's going to split hairs on this.
It's not direwolf.
The wolves are now living on a more than 2,000-acre ecological preserve, according to Colossal, that was certified the American Humane Society and registered with the USDA. The direwolf disappeared during the Quaternary megafauna extinction, a period when over 178 species of large animals known as megafauna went extinct between 52,000 and 9,000 BCE, long after the Ice Age, but before the rise of human civilization. Those animals' ancestors never, ever saw a human being. As with most scientific claims, skepticism quickly followed, particularly since the company expressed ambitions to revive other extinct species like the Tasmanian tiger, mammoth, and dodo. That's interesting.
There's them on the Game of Thrones, or there's them on the throne taking a little nappy poo.
Well, I don't have a problem with it. I don't know what the goal is other than to create science.
Say we did it.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't see where you get a guy like, let's say Elon Musk or Bill Gates or one of these guys, especially Bill Gates. He likes to play God.
Yeah.
You know, Musk seems to put his money towards good things. But Gates wants to do this, and Gates wants to spend $20 million of his money, which is his money, and he's got a ton of it. And that's what he wants to do. And if that's his toy hobby and he wants to do it, but I don't understand what the end game is. Are we going to try to repopulate the earth with them things? Because
they're going to stop at 3.
What they are going to stop?
No.
No.
Or are they going to be done with these 3?
No, they're going to breed that male to that female. She's from a different deal, so that's what they're going to do is they're going to breed her. But what about? There's not a place on the earth right now that's better because they've reintroduced wolves,
right?
That I know of.
But are these? I don't know. Like what are these going to be like? Like, they're handling them.
Are we playing Jurassic Park here?
But they're handling them, so I don't know if they have that instinct.
That's what I want to see somebody do.
What?
I want to see someone bring back a fucking dinosaur.
I don't. It didn't work. No way.
That's a show.
It didn't. Okay, yeah, and Terminator was a show, but now look how close we are.
Well, you got a good point.
I mean, we're getting closer and closer.
Transformers is really there.
Yeah, I mean, all this shit that we're like, oh boy. You saw in the 80s and everything, you're like, oh, that'll never. That's science fiction.
Those dire wolves is neat. But if that was a velociraptor there, it'd be really more interesting.
But I just don't know if they're going to have the killer instinct Because I have no experience with wolves. I'm going to say that also.
You can't take a wild. You saw that little baby bobcat we had. You cannot take.
But I don't know, is a baby wolf going to be ferocious from the time you get introduced to it?
Does a Labrador retrieve?
Yeah.
Yeah. Amos pointed a bird the other day.
Right.
So that's instinct. He never done that before. It's just an instinct.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that the hunting and pack animal instinct is still going to be there. But that's what I mean. I don't know what the long-term play is here. Is they wanting to reintroduce them? We don't need no more wolves.
I just don't know what we're going to do with a woolly mammoth in 25 years.
I'm going to tell you right now, there's a bunch of Eskimos that are already fighting polar bears. Probably ain't going to be fucking excited to have to be taking on a damn woolly mammoth.
No. Buffalo are hard enough problem.
You can't keep them in nowhere.
You couldn't keep them in anywhere. And now, once again, I don't know how big a woolly mammoth is, but I got to assume it's bigger than a buffalo.
We live in a very unique state, which everybody knows. I mean, if you're a Texan, Texans are different than everybody. And there's great people everywhere, and we got a bunch of horses' asses here. But we tend to do things that not everybody does. And one of the things that we've tended to do is we have introduced tons of exotic animals to our state. Right. You can go down the hill country. You can go up here, and if I'm driving home today and I see a kudu or a black buck or something drive across the road, I'm not shocked by any of that. Is that dirty duck cold brew?
Yeah.
Jay Peterson, we need some more of that. Or Buck. So, anyways, Mom loves it.
Yeah, that's the tits.
So, I don't know that bringing all this stuff back is really a good thing. Texas is fixing to have a big warthog problem.
Right. I remember you talking about.
They're getting more and more of them. It started out at a wildlife management area somewhere down by Brownsville, South Texas, and now they're getting out everywhere. Well, they're more aggressive, and they burrow up and stuff. So probably before I see a dire wolf or a woolly mammoth, I'm probably going to see a warthog out here somewhere.
I wonder how much it costs to make these.
That's what I'm saying. A rich guy like Bill Gates, that's just something to do.
Pet project.
Did you see how much Jeff Bezos paid to pull up some wreckage off of some ship the other day? Mm-mm. He woke up one day and decided he wanted to find some ship wreckage. I read just the headlines of it, and they're going to spend $150 million. And he's like, I think that'd be pretty cool to do.
I think James Cameron, he fronted a lot of that shit with the Titanic.
He did. Is that the same Avatar guy?
Yeah. But I think he just had a fascination with the Titanic. So he's like, I got money, so let's go see this thing.
Money's only an object when you don't have a lot of it.
Right.
That's it. If you got a lot of money, money's not an option or anything. I mean, it's just like, okay, if I had tons and tons of money, all these guys that's got these flooded corn bills that I think they're screwing up the hunting. And I do believe that it changes the migration. I'm telling you right now, if I had $100 million, I'd go spend me $10 million on the Platte River or $20 million or $50 million. And I'd build me a big place like that to have.
Yeah.
Just because that's my passion. And I like to see the birds. So it's not always about shooting stuff. I just like to see them. So it's probably some wealthy guy that thought it would be fun to do this.
No, you can't afford the dire wolf. $10 billion
is what they're worth.
That's what it says right there.
So you could buy the Dallas Cowboys, which I don't think you could buy the Cowboys for $10 billion. I think it costs $20 billion. But you could buy the Boston Red Sox and still have $3 billion left over, or you could buy you a dire wolf. That's priced high enough.
That's according to that TechCrunch. I mean, we can read the article and see what it says, but that's the headline. The de-extinction, colossal.
Well, I think that is an amazing thing in scientists, what they did. Really did. I hope they bring back the passenger pigeons. One of them they're wanting to bring back. That's a different company. Yeah. And I would like to see that happen. But, look at this. My whole life, the whooping crane has been on the extinct list, or almost extinct, the very protected list, whatever you want to call it. And to this day, I am 57 years old, and for 50 years, we've gotten no closer to having whooping cranes than we did when I grew up. I mean,
we might have more dire wolves in 50 years than we do whoopers.
I think in 1942 there was 13 whooping cranes left, and I don't know that there's 1,000 now.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what they do? They breed like responsible Republicans. They don't have enough kids.
Okay, they do have their dew claws. I was going to say, it's right there.
And it's just like they're 99.5% the same as a gray wolf.
Right.
They're just white. I just think it's amazing that they could do that. Them smart, geeky people that we made fun of, this is the kind of shit they do.
Uh-huh. When Colossal Bioscience announced its latest fundraiser at a $10.2 billion valuation earlier this year, the company's co-founder and CEO Ben Lamb told TechCrunch he believed the startup was undervalued given its actual scientific progress.
Now, here's the thing. I'm going to use Len Bias as an example. Do you even know who that is?
I don't.
Len Bias was a same class as Michael Jordan, basketball player. Got drafted number 1. I think he was the first player taken in the draft. Got drafted on a Saturday night, let's say, and Sunday morning he was dead from cocaine. Was at a party, took some cocaine, was not a drug user or nothing, celebrated, died from a heart attack and died. Never got to play in the NBA. Was a hellacious athlete. So, could someone come back now and clone somebody like him? And I'm just using him as an example.
Oh, no.
But I mean, is that where we're going to next? Is, we going to bring Dad back? I don't know that I'd want to bring my dad back until he was 55. The first 55 years of Ron's life, he's pretty wild. It'd be hard to keep up with. But do you see where I'm coming from? Is that the next stage?
Yeah, where's this? Yeah, I don't know where it's going to go. It's kind of like AI. Everything was a good idea. Like, it can write an essay for you. But now that it's starting to
control the world?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it was great then, but how long into the future before this becomes unrecognizable? So the company they're trying to get the woolly mammoth back. And I don't know, I guess they start on mice because they got, last month the company announced that it engineered a mouse with mammoth-like fur. The woolly mice generated a lot of excitement. So I guess they kind of start.
I mean, we are Jurassic Park and stuff right now, basically.
There's the mice.
I mean, I'm impressed. You'd have to be not to be, because it's breaking down the science of a body and how things are structured and made. Yeah. I think that's very, very interesting. I just don't know if we're going down the right path. Now, how about this? Can we regenerate spinal cords? Can we regenerate? I mean, is that because that's a great path? Kidneys, livers, hearts. Because instead of having a heart transplant, wouldn't it be nice if they could take something from you and grow it in a lab and grow you a new heart if you've got a problem? Because then you wouldn't have to deal with all the rejection medicines and stuff.
I want to say that I just read something not too long ago, and I should have pinned it, I guess, but they did like regenerate a spinal cord with stem cell.
See, that's an amazing thing.
I can look it up real quick.
But in the spinal cord with your brain and all that function, the motor functions, that's such a complex issue. But let's just talk about basic things like hearts. Like someone that we have a friend of ours that needs a heart transplant, and he's going to be way down the list probably. But if you could give him his own heart, you don't have to worry about all the rejection medicine. I bet the percentages would be so much higher for success.
Yeah, so stem cell therapy holds promise for spinal cord regeneration, potentially supporting repair and promoting functional recovery, though it's not a complete cure. So, but I mean, they are making headway.
That's the kind of stuff that I want to see our government help fund. Right. I'm sick and tired, and it's kind of a slippery slope, because did you just see how much money they cut off of? I'm gonna look this up.
Douglas. On your old new computer.
No, I'm looking up on my phone. Douglas sent me a text yesterday. I love having friends that are smarter than me because I learn a lot.
Yeah, if you're the smartest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah, and so I love having.
I'm always in the right room, it seems like.
Yeah. Douglas Spell is a very smart man, and we talk a lot, and he's very intelligent. And
he talks, you listen.
I do a lot of listening when he talks. Okay. Northwestern University gets $790 million a year from the U.S. government. Okay. It costs $70,000 a year to go there. They have 9,000 students.
You're going to have to break that down for me.
$630 million.
Okay.
And then they get $790 million from the United States.
So $1.3 billion.
And they have a $14 billion endowment.
Whew.
Why are we funding all these schools?
It's a lot of dough.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind giving money to things that are going to help things out, but there's so many of these colleges that are getting billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. You watch the Big Bang Theory, just a show, but they're always talking about having to go, get their fundraisers.
Funding.
Because they got to get funding for these pet projects they have. There are some things projects that are really good, but then we've seen like transgender studies on mice and shit. We don't need to be studying that. But there are things like stem cell. I don't mind paying a school $1 billion a year if they're going to do something that's going to help mankind. But it's all the bullshit that goes with it that we're funding.
But do you think that some of that, and I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here, and I have no idea, do you think that some of that leads to shit like that? Like, can we make a mouse a transgender? Like, as that being like a stepping stone to more of this shit? Like, you got to start out somewhere. Can we switch the sex on a mouse?
That's a good point, though.
Can we get the fur to resemble a woolly mammoth? Like, what if everything is what if everything is a progression in a step?
Though this is a good question, and
rather than it just being like a headline, oh, they spent $10 million on making transgender mice. Well, what if that's a necessary step to get the woolly mammoth-like fur on a mouse?
You're devil's advocate. This is a good point. But this is a really good point because that's what the media does, though.
Right.
They spin it the way you want to see it. If that's the case, and we're going to try to transgender them, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. If it's in a step to try to get somewhere, don't have a problem with that either.
And I don't know that that's the case. Like, maybe that's all they were trying to do was make a transgender mouse. I don't know that this is above my wheelhouse.
There's a lot of government funding that's waste.
I agree with that.
And it's just a professor that's getting an extra $250,000 a year in a big lab to play in all the time and using our money for it. And I don't agree with that, especially when these colleges have this much money. Yeah. I think I saw how much money they gave the Ivy League schools, and it's almost as much as we give Ukraine in a year. Mm-hmm. And I don't have an issue. Here's my thing. I would rather send 10,000 kids to school to learn to be plumbers and electricians than to send 100 kids to an Ivy League school to study a bunch of stupid shit when they've got $50 billion in their endowment.
Yeah. You don't need our help.
No. But I don't mind helping the working people because they're the ones paying the bills. Mm-hmm. And rich people pay a lot more taxes than we do. Don't let the government fool your ass. They do. And that's where our tax base come from. There wouldn't be a university out there or a hospital if it wasn't for rich people.
Right.
So I think this is you just made me think a lot when you said that about the transgender. Maybe it was part of a broader study, but we study stuff that there's so much money wasted over stupid shit.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things I read that we'd given $20 million for transgender studies in Lithuania or somewhere. Well, I don't give two shits if Lithuanians are sleeping with their moms.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah.
You know. Anyways, this is a very interesting topic.
It's an interesting time that we're living in. It's gonna, like I said, I don't know how to feel about this. I think it's pretty cool right now, but this might be something in 25 years when they're like, all right, we got 50 woolly mammoths we're about to let go in Montana. Might be like, oh fuck, how did we get here?
If you are a fan of science and for advancement and all that stuff, you better hope to hell that America stays like America, because I promise you right now, if you go to Benghazi and stuff, they ain't working on fucking doing anything that's advancing science probably. No. Your money and all that stuff is in the United States and some places in Europe. And I'm sure every continent's got a couple places that are doing it, but this is the hub of all that stuff is in America.
Yeah.
And that's what we spend our money to. Now that we're talking about
money,
the world and money, Donald Trump. I have had people reach out to me complaining because I'm still 100% behind Trump. I don't know what the end game is, the long game. I don't know much about stocks. I don't know much about shorting stocks and all that other stuff that goes with it. I don't. But I do. Is that your brother?
No.
Oh, he's been doing his too on TV. But I am a big believer that we've got to bring industry and manufacturing back to America. And I know it's going to take a while to do it. It wasn't built overnight. We gave away all that stuff over a 50-year period. Now we're just now bringing it back. And I think we're on the right track.
You heard what Ross Perot said in 92, didn't you?
He wanted to do the same thing.
Yeah. Here it is. Here's the clip.
Over here.
Yes, I'd like to direct my question to Mr. Perot. What will you do as president to open foreign markets to fair competition from American business and here at home from foreign countries so that we can bring jobs back to the United States?
First of all, he never should have shot, because that little snapshot of all three of them, he's about as tall as Bill Clinton was standing.
He was not a very tall guy. Is that the
That's
never mind.
Right at the top of my agenda. We've shipped millions of jobs overseas, and we have a strange situation because we have a process in Washington where after you've served for a while, you cash in, become a foreign lobbyist, make $30,000 a month, then take a leave, work on presidential campaigns, make sure you got good contacts, and then go back out. Now, if you just want to get down to brass tacks, first thing you ought to do is get all these folks who've got these one-way trade agreements that we've negotiated over the years and say, fellas, we'll take the same deal we gave you. And they'll gridlock right at that point because, for example, we've got international competitors who simply could not unload their cars off the ships if they had to comply. You see, if it was a two-way street, just couldn't do it. We have got to stop sending jobs overseas. To those of you in the audience who are business people, pretty simple. If you're paying $12, $13, $14 an hour for factory workers, and you can move your factory south of the border, pay $1 an hour for labor, hire a young 25, that's assuming you've been in business for a long time, you've got a mature workforce. Pay $1 an hour for your labor, have no health care, that's the most expensive single element, making a car, have no environmental controls, no pollution controls, and no retirement, and you don't care about anything but making money, there will be a giant sucking sound going south. So if the people send me to Washington, the first thing I'll do is study that 2,000-page agreement and make sure it's a two-way street. One last point here. I decided I was dumb and didn't understand it, so I called a who's who of the folks who've been around it. And I said, why won't everybody go south? They said, we'll be disruptive. I said, for how long? I finally got them up for 12 to 15 years. And I said, well, how does it stop being disruptive? And that is when their jobs come up from $1 an hour to $6 an hour and ours go down to $6 an hour, then it's leveled again. But in the meantime, you've wrecked the country with these kinds of deals. We got to.
So he said 12 to 15 years in 1992. So that would have been about 2006 to 2010. Mm-hmm. And by that time, we had bled most of the jobs out of here. He was a smart guy. You know, he was a salesperson for Texas Instruments. He sold calculators.
Oh, really?
He would make his yearly quota in sales by January 3rd every year.
Wow.
Smart guy. Smart guy.
They put the buffalo on us with those Texas calculators in high school. They made it seem like it was going to cost as much as a house if you ever lost those fucking things.
Well, back then it was $100.
We kept them.
But okay.
So here's devil's advocate. How much do you interfere with free enterprise?
Free enterprise is free enterprise. You just got to pay your taxes not to make it in America.
Right. But I mean, how much can you monkey with the system and send in, like, if I've got a company and I can make extra money and I'm a greedy business owner, or I'm just a business owner that's worried about the bottom line, and I can make 10 million more a year by sending my car manufacturing plant into Mexico than I can here because of the cheap labor, because of no health care, because of no regulations. Seems like a good business move to me.
It is. I agree with you 100%. I don't blame any company that did it, but don't cry when you start having to pay the tariffs on the shit to come back over here. What we're trying to do is create jobs back in our country.
I know what we're trying to do.
I grew up during the manufacturing when it all, when I was a kid, everything was built in America just about. You go to Walmart, and that was Walmart's famous quote, made in America. Everything was made in America. Now it's made in China. And our industry, the waterfowl industry, has a lot of guys that make a lot of stuff in China. A lot of our sponsors do. And there's going to be some changes coming over the years. I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but I'm sure that the guys at those companies that are friends of ours are doing a lot of head scratching right now to figure out what they're going to do. I talked to a guy today, and I'm not going to mention no names, that's in our industry and they were a step ahead of the curve, and they trying to get some stuff done in Vietnam now instead of China. And they've got some stuff in transit that they don't know when it gets here if they're going to send it back.
Because they're not allowing imports from these countries?
I guess some of the companies pay when it gets to America. You don't have to pay for it until it hits Long Beach, California at the shipyards or wherever it comes in, New York. And if they're going to charge 142% at double the cost on it, they might send it back. Let's say I'm going to try to think of some product that has nothing to do with anything in our business. So I don't. Bras. We damn sure ain't sponsored by any bra companies. The Man's Ear. Man's Ear costs $50 to make, and you sell it for $100. Well, now you're having to pay $100 for it to sell it for $150 to make the same amount of money, and you're going to lose 20. You're only going to keep 20% of your business. Well, how long are they going to stay in business?
Right.
But what we need to do is get those companies to start making that Man's Ear in America, and if we're still having to pay extra, but at least it's all American made with American manufacturing. But our regulation in our country our ridiculous OSHA, EPA union contracts that we have sometimes has cost us more than anything. I don't have a problem with the union at all. I'm not a union guy. We don't have unions in Texas. My grandfather retired from General Motors. He would tell you the union was the best thing ever happened to him. He lived to be 99 and 11 months. And he got a check from General Motors for longer than he got a check, than he worked for General Motors. Mm-hmm. And he got a raise every year. And it was really good. But if you buy a brand new pickup, I think $13,000 or $14,000 or $15,000 that cost is just union. That's the union cost of it. I would like to see someone in America build a pickup, a V6, a V8 gas engine that you can work on without all the electronics bullshit. Why?
It's never happening again.
Why?
Because we're in this technology age.
If you had a pickup that you could buy that cost $30,000 as opposed to my
It'll never happen
my
again.
truck's $80,000 pickup. Your truck's $80,000 pickup. But if you could buy a $30,000 pickup that didn't have all the electronics and shit on it, I think people would buy them.
I don't think anybody would want it.
I think they would.
There's a reason that we got to where we are today. It's because people wanted more of this technology. No, everybody wants that big fucking screen right there. That's how we got here.
If I could buy me a $30,000 pickup that had a 3 on the tree again, I would buy one.
There's
I
not
would.
a shot in hell.
If it drove like the new pickups that are comfortable and stuff, I would.
The whole reason I got the new pickup a couple years ago is because it had the giant screen.
So you bought just for screen?
1,000%.
We'll drive my wall in my house around. I got a 90-inch TV.
I can watch TV
drive it
in there when I drive. I watched Red Zone the entire way back from Shinfest.
Okay.
Last year, I watched Red Zone
your wife was so proud.
The entire way. She loved it because I was happy.
And that's what makes her happy.
And that's what makes her happy is me being happy.
But I think there is a selling point for people. I think you're wrong. I think there's a lot of people.
Why'd the flip phone go away? Why are these getting bigger? It's because everybody's addicted to these screens.
I'm telling you that if you got a car that had a radio in it, you can have some electronics in it. It don't have to have everything, but you can make a truck that you can work on that's easier to have, where you can change your own freaking oil, where you don't have to have go put it on a computer to find out something's wrong. There is a market for that, and I hope somebody brings it back. Another thing too, it's not just trucks. There's a lot of things that we can make again here: tractors, farm equipment, without having to go through John Deere and all the electronic process that they go through. You know, and now John Deere's in the banking business now. They're going to own every freaking farm in America because they're going to say, I'll tell you what, I'll sell you that $800,000 cotton picker or stripper, whatever they're using. And here, you don't have the credit at the bank, or they're going to charge you 15%. We'll charge you 10% interest because you're a risk, but you're going to put grandma's farm up against it. Ooh. And that's what's going to happen, more and more of that stuff. And instead of being able to go buy machinery that maybe is not as fast, but it's cheaper and you can work on it yourself. I had a farmer in Oklahoma tell me that they got rid of all their new tractors and they bought 20-year-old tractors.
Back to the old stuff?
Because they could work on them still. You know, you don't have to, because he told me, he said, every time I go to John Deere, it costs me $10,000. Mm-hmm. He goes, I don't give a shit what I go for. It's $10,000. He goes, guess what? We got 25-year-old tractors now. We can fix them ourselves. Change the oil, do everything. We don't have all the electronics in them. I think there's a market for that coming in our country. And I don't know when, but I do think it's coming. But cars are getting it's ridiculous. I like most of the tariffs. I don't like all of them, but you got to give and take. But I don't think it's fair that we can't sell our vehicles overseas.
I agree.
Someone said that Ford used to be the number one selling vehicle in maybe Europe or somewhere, or in some country over there, and then they quit letting them sell them there, so that nobody could get them anymore. Or they made the tariffs so freaking high nobody could use them.
So I am for this in theory. I agree with the principle of made in America, buy American, made in America. I agree with that. But who are you going to get to do these jobs?
That's the problem we have. We've got to quit paying people to sit on their ass at home.
Because like, okay, we'll use the bras for an example. Do you think that a bunch of 24-year-olds, you're going to get a bunch of them to sign up at the new bra manufacturing plant to stitch bras together all day? Do you really think that's what America's made up of today? We're
gonna have to cut people off. I mean, you're going to have to cut the tit off.
I am 1,000% for bringing jobs back to America. 1,000%.
But who's going to do the work?
Who's going to do it?
We're going to have to cut people's ass off.
I guarantee you go to any hotel in America and you look at the cleaning staff. They're probably
no English. No habla inglés.
Maybe they got a green card, but I don't see very many college kids pushing that cart down the hallway when it comes time to clean my room.
We have to cut the tit from all the checks. We have people in our country. I paid for 3 boys to have braces. Or let me rephrase that. Me and your mother paid for 3 boys to have braces. Did you ever go without growing up?
No.
I'm sure there's things that you'd like to have. Do you remember that year we went to Tahiti as a family?
Nope.
No, because we couldn't afford that. There are things that we didn't do that I would like to have done, but we couldn't afford it. So we didn't do it. Mm-hmm. But there are kids living in the projects whose mom has never had a job, who have straighter teeth than I have because I had braces.
Right.
I'm lucky. I got pretty good teeth genetically. I got 2 crooked teeth on the bottom that are in just a little bit that I probably could have had braces on, but I smile on the top, nobody can see. But I never had braces. I'd like to have those fancy ass shiny white teeth like my buddy in Wichita Falls has, and when he smiles a mile away, you can see him.
Yeah.
I don't have that because I can't afford $15,000 or $20,000 for veneers, and I'm not going to pay for them as well. To me, it's not ridiculous. I'm not paying for it, but you can't keep giving people shit. These kids get free braces. They get money to go to their braces, so they're getting a check to teach. So a lady that's got 4 kids and she's got braces on them out here, we're having to travel 75 miles to go to the orthodontist. So the government gives her a check for mileage for those kids to go each month. So if she's got 4 kids, she's not riding just all of them together. She is, but she's getting paid for 4 kids.
1 a week.
Yeah. And so these 4 kids, she's getting $400 a month in gas money just to take the kids. And they go 1 time a month, and then they get their braces free, and then they get free food. And I don't want nobody starving. So before we get on that, rice, beans, there's stuff we can give people to eat, but they get all this money. And someone told me if a family was getting $1,500 a month for groceries, I'd be eating.
Seems like a lot back then, but I don't know about today.
Well, it's true, but I'd be going to Central Market and eating steaks every night. But we can't do that shit. It's not fair. It's not fair for people that don't work to have more income than people that do work. And that's the problem. If we cut that shit off, then people go to work. You look at TV is an honest teller. Is honest. I don't know the word I'm looking for here, but it's honesty. If you look back at old TV shows,
it's a mirror to reality.
Mirror to reality. That's what I'm looking for. Mirror to reality. If you look at shows in the 60s and 70s, you look at Good Times, you look at Sanford and Son, you look at the Jeffersons, somehow back then we had real TV. Roseanne is a very good reality show for people. When I was in college and Roseanne was on, I thought it was some fat lady, and John Goodman could have done a whole lot better. Your mother watches it, and I've been watching it for the last 30 years now, and we watch the reruns and stuff, and that's what's on in the TV in the morning when she first thing watches. It's Roseanne every day. It's reality. People having to make ends meet, being broke, having your power turned off, your phone turned off, having to get Becky, the oldest daughter, need a prom dress, and Dan had to take his shoes back so he could buy her. That's reality of a family life, not the Cosbys. Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of stuff, if you go back, you see those people struggled, but they all worked. They didn't have all these free handouts and shit. Now you see kids, I don't give a shit what color they are. Poor kids have cell phones and $200 pair of Nikes. Mm-hmm. I grew up poor. We didn't have none of that shit. So somewhere we flipped and started giving everybody everything.
But it just goes back to there's going to be a lot of, no matter how you do it, to pull this off, there's going to be pain involved. Yeah, and I don't know that the average American can stomach it.
Right now, the rich people are hurting. Now, you're laughing at that.
They just got back. I mean, they got their money back.
But right now, it's them that's feeling the pain. A poor person don't have stocks.
Well, I mean, they feel it theoretically. They hadn't felt it. No. As long as you don't sell your shit, you're fine.
No, but they're the ones right now that are thinking they're hurting.
Right.
The poor person that owns stocks is not affected by that at all.
They don't own stocks.
It's like living in New York City and being upset about gas prices.
Right.
You don't ever buy gas. You don't have insurance payments. You don't know what that's like because you don't have them. Now, your goods cost more when gas prices go up. Now, gas prices theoretically should be going down. It's about $50 a barrel right now, which we don't need. We need gas. We need barrel oil to be about $70 a barrel. $70 to $80 a barrel, everybody makes money. $50 a barrel, we're not. But I can promise you right now, you're not going to see the cost of goods and stuff go down because gas prices went down right now. But
I just don't know that I just don't know that America can stomach the growing pains for
that's
a little bit.
Right. Right now, the people that own stocks are struggling. That's it. And it's not a struggle. It's just the dose of reality that we lost some, and some of it's came back. Now, when we start going and cutting these people's entitlement checks, and Social Security is not an entitlement. That's your money.
Yep.
I'm not talking about that. So don't come at me with, you want to get rid of Social Security. No, because my ass is going to be on it in about 6 or 7 years. No, I don't want to get rid of Social Security. But when you start doing away all these free braces and all this shit, and then people all of a sudden got to go to work because they're hungry and they don't get that free shit, then they're going to start bitching and griping. And then what sucks is you got one political party that's going to be all about giving free shit to try to buy votes. If we want to fix our country, we're going to have to get on the same page, buckle down, and build manufacturing plants here, and we're going to have to fill it up with workers. Can't stay home. And I don't understand. Everybody I know that's on some kind of government assistance, them fuckers don't live. They survive. They survive 1 month at a time.
They don't know any difference, though.
And I'm not talking about survive like self-employed people do that, sometimes you worry about when your checks are going to come or whatever it is. I'm talking about people that every month they live to just be able to have enough food to live. Their vacation is getting to go to a water park maybe somewhere. They don't get to do anything. They don't live.
They don't know any different, though.
No, I know that. But those people actually, if they had to go to work and all of a sudden started making more money, they'd be like, oh shit, I got money to do stuff with.
I don't think they would. I think they'd be pissed off that they got to get out of their pajamas before 2:00 in the afternoon. If they ever get out of their pajamas. It's another thing. We watch Andy Griffith in our house. That's what we watch. You see people going to the grocery store back in the day. All the ladies were fixed up to go to the grocery store.
Your mom could have been a lady in the 60s.
Go to the fucking grocery store now. Half of them are wearing pajamas.
Go to a casino. That's
pajamas?
Casino wear. Oh, all the time. I'm like, what the hell? Do you not have a mirror at your house? Are you too freaking lazy to put on a pair of pants?
I don't get it.
Even sweatpants. I see some guys wearing sweatpants and shit. At least they got on a sweatsuit. Like not the older guys got the chains on.
Yeah.
But
Tony Soprano's
you
jogger.
see them in their fucking Little Miss Kitty, not sexy lingerie, because these women don't need to be wearing lingerie anyways. But you see them wearing pajamas and you're like, what universe did you wake up of that you just, I don't.
But also a long time ago, you could work one of those jobs and you could make enough money to survive. A lot of those entry jobs, like you've talked about before, it's a job for a high school kid. Like that was one thing on Andy Griffith last night that we watched. They wanted the guy that plays on Gilligan's Island, the captain there. He fell in love with Barney's woman. Well, they made him fall out of love by saying he had to sell his farm and move to town because she wasn't moving to the farm. But Andy came in and said, "I got you a job at the grocery store as a stock boy, basically." But you could work at a grocery store back then and make enough money to provide for your family. Now we see that as a job for high school kids.
Yeah.
So there's been a disparity somewhere where you can't work your average job and still afford your mortgage, your gas, your groceries, your bills. So there's some give and take somewhere here, and I don't know where it is. Like working at a gas station. We used to have old timers that owned a gas station here, and that's what they did.
2 families survived off of it, put kids through college and everything.
Yeah, you can't do that now.
No. But they owned
imagine?
the station too, though. They owned the gas station.
But they probably did. They have employees? Did they
were the employees,
right?
Yeah. If you're self-employed, you're self-employed.
I just think about the grocery store here. You couldn't be a clerk right now and have a family of 3 and a house.
Not without some government assistance, no.
But that's what I'm saying. But in the 50s, that was a viable job for somebody.
In the 70s and 80s,
you could work at a grocery store.
Yeah,
that was a career path.
A lot of people did. And
maybe it's not a career, maybe it's a job, but you could still provide for your family somehow.
Well, there's been a lot of good people provided for their families and worked their whole time, and they worked at a Safeway or United grocery store, and they made pretty good money. But it's a different world we live in. But
we fucked up a long time ago by making women work. That's where it all went wrong, because the workforce doubled And then prices, that's why these jobs, you're not seeing an increase in pay, is because there's twice as many people in the workforce.
But we don't have enough workers. That's what's crazy.
But your supply and demand inverted whenever you doubled the workforce with women. So now all of a sudden we don't have to give people raises because we'll find somebody else to do it. That's where it all went wrong.
The McDonald's deal is a good example.
Should have kept them in the house in the kitchen.
McDonald's is paying people in big cities $16 to $20 an hour, $22 an hour. I saw somewhere we were driving, had a sign. $20 an hour to work at McDonald's.
Probably can't fill the job.
And if I go to McDonald's and old person's at the window, everything's right. But if it's a teenager, they don't do something. But here's a teenager can make $20 an hour. Mm-hmm. If we had a McDonald's in Knox City in the summertime, I'd get me a part-time job just because I like to be around people. Now you think I'm laughing, but I would, for $20 an hour, if I worked at a front window or something and did that stuff, it wouldn't bother me at all because I could make $500 a week part-time, work 25 hours a week just because I like to get out and be around people. It wouldn't bother me. Walmart greeter. You're paying me $20 an hour. Hey, how are you doing? Good seeing you. I wouldn't mind that.
Right.
That's why you see them older people doing. A lot of them aren't working for the money. Is it's getting out of the house and it gives them some spending money, but it gives them something to do. A young person, they're at home playing fucking video games.
Yeah,
that's all they do. And I don't know what's going to happen with all this stuff, but we're going to have some tough times coming in our country for about 6 more months. It's going to take a while to level out.
I don't know if it'll be tough. I just think it's going to be up and down.
The chip maker in Vietnam, I swear, I wish Tony was in here. I think we listened to it yesterday. I think they said one of them companies is spending $15 billion to build a factory in the United States to build chips. Where's the chip? Where the people that are going to work there come from? How much are they going to make? I wonder. That's got to be a good job. Now,
do you think somebody's going to want to build iPhones all day?
Okay, I'm glad you bring this. We're going to talk about the iPhone. They say, well, they don't want to do that because in Vietnam, they're paying somebody $1 an hour to put these together. How many possible parts do you think is on an actual iPhone?
Oh, God. Down to the...
I'm telling you, how many actual pieces that are pre-made do they stick together to make the iPhone, do you think?
1,500?
Oh, I don't think it's nothing like that.
You don't?
No, I'll bet you that they've got a motherboard that's already put together that they get. I'll bet
I can look that
robotics do most of the work. I would be surprised that an iPhone takes more than 5 minutes to put together.
Okay, we'll get back to that. Chip giant Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing announced on Monday, this was in March, this was last month, plans to make an additional $100 billion investment in the United States.
$100 billion.
To build 5 additional chip factories in the coming years.
Okay, and they've already, there's $7 trillion or something that people have iPhone is putting in a bunch of money. Microsoft, they're going to start building stuff in America, which is going to probably be better jobs. Now, what's an iPhone cost? $1,200?
Yeah.
Now, if you go and you get it on a plan, you pay $100 a month or something?
There's only 34 components in an iPhone.
Okay, that's what I thought. I didn't think there was very many. How long does it take to put it together?
$24 hours, including 6 to 8.
That's the glue and process and everything, probably. Or the whatever they put it together with.
Burn-in and testing is 6 to 8 hours. Assembly steps, 141 work steps are involved in the production of an iPhone.
Okay, I'm assuming that one guy does something all day long.
He puts a board. I'm sure it's like
assembly line.
Assembly
and it goes down. And a lot of it's computerized, probably. Now, how much does it cost to make an iPhone? Well, it says right there, labor costs are estimated to be between $12.50 and $30 per unit.
And there's 34 units?
Yep. So, no. When he says unit, he means per phone. It's between $12.50 and $30 is the labor to put a phone together. Now, those are Vietnamese dollars, so I don't know. Let's say it goes up tenfold. It still would be $300 to build a phone on the labor part. I wonder how much.
$580.
Okay. Tariffs that would increase to $847 is what they're saying with these with a 54% tariff. Well, if it comes over to America, okay, here's your sell-off. 54% tariff. So that's going to give you basically $275 that you can pay an American worker to equal the 847 where the tariff's at. And that's what Trump's wanting to do, because they probably can get it down to about $100 and save $150 less than what the tariff would be and make it in America.
Once again, I'm for it. I just don't know that we're going to have many people lining up to work in an assembly line.
Well,
putting screens on an iPhone.
If they would have told you 30
and I
years,
hope that we do. I hope that we can somehow cut the free money out to some of these people that are, check each month and not doing anything, not leaving the house. Like, I hope that we figure that system out. I just don't know that we will.
Okay, what about the I'm trying to think of a good example of something that we're doing now. Amazon. If I'd have told you 30 years ago that one company was going to sell over half the goods in the United States, and they were going to deliver by drones, deliver by their own company, you're going to buy it online, you're going to pay them to be able to buy their product, and you could buy video, phones, and everything off the same deal, you'd have thought you was crazy. They have no problem filling workers to do their jobs. Matter of fact, they've replaced a lot of U.S. Postal Service workers all through the United States because they've started delivering themselves, and those guys don't have as much stuff to deliver anymore.
Right.
So if we can find a workforce for that, I'll promise you that if you're working for Apple building iPhones, you're going to be working in a very good climate controlled environment with probably pretty good benefits.
I hope you're right.
So
I hope so.
I think that I don't think it'll be as hard to fill that job. Now, when they build them places, the people that are being cleaning hotels and stuff may be taking those jobs and not hotel jobs.
Right. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that we bring a lot of this stuff back to America. I just know how lazy this generation is.
No, this country is.
True.
Not all generations are lazy, but the United States is lazy.
Very lazy.
And we're the most gluttonous consumers in the world. But that's why everybody needs us. That's what's funny. I see all these Canadians on Threads, and I've got a lot of Canadian friends that I really, really like. Matter of fact, I don't even know any in Canada I don't like. And most of them think just like I do. But on that Threads, it's these liberal, it's just like talking to someone from California, basically. It's a liberal. All anti-United States. We can show you, we beat you on the War of 1812, blah, 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 blah. First of all, the Canadian military is not taking on the United States military. And the United States ain't ever going to attack Canada anyways. No. But it wouldn't take but about a day and a half. And we'd have the whole thing. Just because we have a bigger, our military's big and they've taken so many guns from those people. But the United States doesn't have to have Canada. Mm-mm. Canada and China, they have to have the United States consumer. You can't replace the U.S. consumer anywhere in the world because nobody is as gluttonous as us. How many people in the world have the TVs that we own?
Right.
Every family I know's got multiple TVs.
Big ones.
Yes. And they get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, I couldn't put a bigger TV on my wall. My room's not big enough for a bigger TV. Cars.
Yeah.
I know very few families that don't have one extra car now. Most families have, if there's a husband and wife, somehow they have a third vehicle, a lot of them.
Right.
You go to other countries, they got one toilet. I mean, you laugh, but you drove those back streets in Isla Harris. Those people are sitting on a plastic table in their driveway with chairs eating their family dinner because they don't even have a dining room.
Yeah.
You think they got 3 fridges?
Nope.
I bet they don't have a TV in every room.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
So they have to have us. So we have the advantage on all the tariffs other than getting people mad. And now, yesterday, the Democrats somebody at the Democratic DNC come up with a really good idea that Trump did insider trading by doing these tariffs. Have you seen that big bitch today? He
said it's a good day to buy.
Yeah, he told everybody it's a good day to buy. Everything's going up.
And it dipped, which right.
One do. But Adam Schiff and them said it's insider trading now.
Because he prompted people to go buy?
Yeah, he knew it was going to go up, so he was helping all his billionaire friends.
I guess because he said it's a good day to buy, and then a couple hours later he paused the tariffs.
Yeah, they said he's just trying to help his billionaire friends. We told everybody it's not like he had a private meeting. Right. It's not like Nancy Pelosi.
Right.
or Adam Schiff or anybody else. But it's
15
just
people.
funny that the Democrats now are worried about the stock market and insider trading. They didn't worry about insider trading a year ago.
Yeah,
You didn't hear nothing about it.
I saw a funny tweet. It was like, Trump is the only man that can make Democrats turn their back on electric vehicles, take up for Wall Street. They listed about 4 different things that it's just like was the Democrats' baby, and now all of a sudden they're for Wall Street. Fuck Tesla.
Yep.
Fuck saving the environment, because the big bad orange man is in line with it.
And it's all they have. And what's funny is the media jumps on it with them because they want to push it, but nobody listens to it because their numbers keep going down further and further and further. And now it's leaked out that they already picked who they want to have run for president, because they don't like to do primaries in the Democratic Party. AOC and Bernie Sanders.
Yeah,
that's their party. They run them. They have no chance in hell of winning. None.
I'm not saying that. It's just midterms is going to be, if things don't pick up in 2 years, they're going to take control of the House.
They should get. I don't know if they'll get the Senate, but they'll get the House if that keeps up. Senate's more stable. Plus, a lot of the seats that's coming up in the Senate are liberal seats that they already control anyways. That might come up, and we're going to get a new senator in Texas because Ken Paxton's going to beat John Cornyn. I don't think John Cornyn runs. I think John Cornyn's been getting a lot of this money from Ukraine, kickback money. It says he has. I saw a deal said $42 million. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think he bailed. I think there's going to be a lot of politicians that are going to bail this Doji stuff. But Doji, they've got to arrest somebody. American people wants to see somebody put on a platter.
I've already told you it ain't happening.
And you may be right, but that's what people want to see. People want to see some people be held accountable for all this fraud and waste.
You won't see anything with Epstein. You won't see anything with none of it.
I hope you're wrong.
It's all gone.
I hope you're wrong.
It ain't happening.
Do you think the Israelis control a lot of that?
I just think that it's all over with. It's too deep. Runs too deep.
Okay, let's talk about something else I want to talk about.
Hold on, pause, because I got to pee.
Okay.
We've already been going an hour.
I don't even know how to describe it. They had a murder at a track meet.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about this.
Last week.
Yeah.
And this is the basis of the whole thing. There was a school in Texas. The schools at track meets take canopies. Each school's got their own canopy, and they have a rule in the Dallas area that you're not allowed to go under another school's tent.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's some kind of rule they have. Out here, we didn't have that rule. It's a good place to meet girls.
That's
I
where
guess.
you went. You roamed.
Yes,
out
you
here.
roamed. And everybody, but if you go sit down in the actual tent area, I think it's got to be designated for each particular school. So there's about 15 different accounts of this version of this story, but there's a black kid was sitting in this other school's tent. And it's not just a white school, it's just a school in Dallas. I'm sure they have lots of people from every shade of pigment that you could think of there. And the kid was asked to leave. And I'm sure it was not a pleasant, would you please get up and leave our tent? I'm sure it was young
Hello,
men.
sir, this is our tent. You seem to find yourself under the wrong tent, sir.
Yeah, I'm sure there was some smart ass, somebody's running mouth.
Get your fucking ass up.
It's probably what was said. Get out of here and then make me.
Yeah.
Basically what he said. And then the kid grabbed at him. He said, if you touch me, you'll see what's going to happen. So the kid touches him and he grabs a knife out of his bag and shoves it in his heart and kills him.
Yep.
Well, in my eyes, that's pretty much blatant murder. That's all it is. You can't you can't go stabbing people because they argue with you, or even if someone put their hands on you. If you thought someone was going to try to kill you, I just don't. It does not justify what happened.
One thing that I've seen is that he thought that, because it's twins, he thought he was about to get jumped.
The other brother was down on the ground. The kid come running out of the stands holding his chest and said, I've been stabbed. And his brother wasn't even there right next to him.
I thought his brother was right next to him.
Not from the one of the police.
Like you said, there's about 15 different versions of this.
There's no excuse to stab somebody.
I agree.
At all. And the kid had been kicked out of school a month earlier for taking a gun knife to school.
Was he a spectator? Or was he running track?
I heard his girlfriend was running. Then I've heard that he got beat by that other kid in a race. And I've heard he skipped school and went there to see his girlfriend race. I've heard all kinds of different things. That I don't know. But the bottom line, he stabbed a kid. Well, if it was a white kid stabbing a white kid, we wouldn't be talking about this. It would be just a tragedy, and a kid's going to go to prison for the rest of his life, and they should put him to sleep. But in Texas, if you're under 18, you can't be given the death penalty. But it was a black kid that stabbed a white kid. If it was a black kid that stabbed a black kid, we wouldn't be hearing about it. But now it's a big racial deal. Now, the dad of the kid who was murdered has raised almost $300,000, and his wife's raised another couple $100,000. To me, that's very unclass. I don't know the word. I hope I never go through something like this, but I can't imagine my kid getting stabbed in that night thinking I need to make me a GoFundMe.
Did they make it or did somebody make it for them?
I think they made their own.
I don't know.
But I don't, and then to ask for that kind of money. I don't know what kind of, we're having a George Floyd funeral, you know, John McCain, we're gonna have 7 of them. I just don't know where we're coming from with we need this money. I think GoFundMe I think it's a vile thing. I think that what GoFundMe started out as is some guys making 10% off everybody donating money and making a lot of money. But I think we've gotten so far to what we asked for. First of all,
everything, Jeff.
First of all, that family is going to be well compensated by that school district. Now, you're on school board, and you told me when I said that, you go, the school didn't have nothing to do with it. They didn't. Their property, their event, didn't provide enough security.
You can't, it's like suing a city, though. You can't sue a city. The school falls under the same thing.
If the city of Knox City had a function and someone got stabbed on there and we didn't provide adequate security, I'm promising you, as an old mayor of a town for a long time, our insurance would have settled out of court for these people for a bunch of money. It's different than someone tripping on a sidewalk. This is different. We're talking, if you had a basketball game and someone got stabbed in the stands, that basketball game, that school is going to get sued and the school's going to pay money.
I'm not saying that they're not going to get sued.
No, I'm saying the school would say, the school's insurance, the school's not going to write a check. Their insurance company is. That's what you have insurance for. That family's going to be well compensated. Not only from that school, but if the school that other kid went to is a different school district, probably both school districts are probably going to get stabbed. If he was there at the school function and he brought a knife to the deal.
But is this not, I'm trying to think, is this the state of Texas?
Yeah, we're in state of Texas.
I know that, but what I'm saying is this not under the UIL's umbrella? Or was this the individual schools?
Is a different deal.
But was this the individual schools track meet, or was this like district or area?
I think it was just a track meet. I don't think it was an area or district track meet.
Because I don't see how the school would be liable. Like, we just had area here. How would our small school be liable for something that happened wherever the track meet was holding?
Because you're responsible for the event. Just like if you put a playoff football.
If I go to state in Austin, how is Knox City responsible for what takes place in Austin?
If it's no. If they have an event at Pierre Chaw School, I'm not talking about in Austin.
Where was that track meet? Was that track meet in the school that the kid got stabbed in?
That's a good point. Whoever's facilities that is going to get sued.
Yes.
That's okay. I was just assuming that was that kid's facility, their hometown facility.
I don't know where it was. If it was in Wichita Falls, I don't see how Knox City's liable. For something that happened in Wichita Falls.
They wouldn't be unless a Knox City kid stabbed somebody. Because he would be. First of all, that's the world we live in. Everybody sues everybody all the time, and it's tragic what happened.
Yes, that does happen.
It's a bullshit deal. That should have never happened. But if that kid rode on that bus and took a knife, and it's not fair to that coach because he don't go through everybody's bags. But you would never expect someone to have a damn knife in their bag anyways, or a gun. But the funny thing, or not funny, it's ironic. All the people complaining about this are like, well, he was being bullied, so it justified him shooting. I've never heard one time at a school shooting anybody said, well, he was being bullied, so it was okay that he shot and killed all those people.
Right.
You can't kill people just because you feel threatened or something. It's a difference if the kid had a baseball bat and was coming at him, he stabbed him, that'd be a different deal.
Right.
Kid didn't do anything other than maybe put his hand on his arm, but he told him before, and and he even said this in the actual police report. He said, touch me and see what happens.
Yeah.
He was looking for an excuse. And then when he ran and they got arrested, the cop said, you allegedly stabbed. I didn't allegedly, I did it.
Allegedly, hell, I did it.
He said, I did it.
Yeah.
And he said, now, what happened to the kid? And I guess the cop said, well, he died. He said, well, it's self-defense, right? It's like he was looking for an excuse.
To stab somebody.
I think so.
Maybe.
And then, you read so much stuff, and the dad, he's a 3.7 GPA, blah, blah. What's come out, if you add his 3 years together, it don't even equal up 3.7. which has nothing to do with it.
Right.
But you can't stab somebody you can't take a knife to a track meet, then a guy touches you and you stab him and kill him and then run off. If it was self-defense, why would he go run off and go throw the knife somewhere?
I don't know.
I mean, and I'm sure he panicked and stuff. And it's a shame. 2 kids lost their lives. Kid died, and another kid is going to spend the rest of his life in prison. I don't see how anybody in the world, I don't think Johnny Cochran could get him off this deal. But they're making it a race deal.
It's tragedy.
And then the same people that are complaining about this guy, this poor black kid in self-defense, the same page in Dallas that I follow, that it's basically a page of black people that have a lot of everything happens in town. They put on there, and I enjoy it. I look at it all the time. They had a black girl got killed by a black guy. Not one time has anybody offered to do a GoFundMe for that black guy.
Right.
Nothing. And so it's a sad deal. I actually heard about it on Fox News last night. So it's finally made the national media. But it's a big, this thing in the track meet. But it's become a big, it's become quite a story in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And it's a shame, but it shouldn't come down to race. Because one jacked up kid stabbed another kid in the heart, regardless of what color it is, over nothing and killed him. And just the comments are so hateful on there about that, because it's sad for everybody. I've said that before about a lot of people that have shot. There's been kids that have done some school shootings, and I feel sorry for their parents too. Mm-hmm. The kid that shot Trump, I felt sorry for his mom and dad. If you didn't have any idea and your kid goes somewhere and all of a sudden you got Secret Service on your front door because your kid just shot the president.
Right.
I mean, there's no perfect parents out there, and there damn sure ain't very many perfect kids.
Yeah, both parents lost a kid in the deal.
Yeah, and then everybody's trying to make money off the deal, and I just don't.
It's the world we live in, unfortunately. But I don't know. I mean, I guess it could go to clear bags like you see when we went to anytime you get into like a major event, you got to have a clear bag.
Makes sense.
So maybe that's what is coming for high school track meets. But that's the thing, is every kid has a backpack. You go to these track meets. I mean, they get in the tent. They got all their shit with them. Everybody's got a backpack. So
I've never heard of anybody getting murdered at a track meet. Never in my life. I've heard of somebody getting shot at a football game and stabbed. I mean, that shit happens, but usually somebody in the stands, not participants.
Yeah.
But I would like to know the whole story.
We'll get the whole story soon.
And everybody's jumping to deal, but I don't understand how you can make a excuse for self-defense, because there's nothing self-defense about it.
No.
I mean, if someone broke into your house and he has a gun and comes at you and you shoot him, and let's say you shoot him in the thigh and he's down, he's writhing in pain, and you let him bleed to death before you call an ambulance, you're asking to get in trouble. Yep. Or if you shoot him 2 or 3 more times while he's down on the ground, you can get in trouble. Mm-hmm. You can't go to extreme.
Right.
And I think this kid went to extreme.
Well, of course he did. He took a life.
Yes, that's right.
Will he be tried as an adult?
Yeah, he's 17.
That's an adult?
Yep. He can't get the death sentence because he's not 18.
That's a hair to split.
I think that if you're
old enough to be tried as an adult, but you're not old enough for us to kill you.
You're right. Well, and would they say, I think it's premeditated capital murder. He took a knife there. He didn't take a knife because somebody's, he felt threatened. Well, if you felt threatened, why would you go over there? Let me tell you something. My ass ain't going in to no shitty bar that I think I'm going to get hurt at.
Right.
It ain't happening. I don't even like to go in bad neighborhoods anymore. I'm getting old. We're going to Ducks in Memphis, and I was looking at VRBOs, and I'm going to learn from Maddie Robertson. I'm going to make sure the VRBO is in a good neighborhood and not, we're not staying in the ghetto.
Yeah.
And so if he felt threatened, he should have never went over there. Damn sure not take a knife in your bag with you. If you think you got to take a knife and a bag out, you shouldn't be there.
I agree.
So
I agree. Maybe he lives in a shitty neighborhood and that was for his walk home. I don't know.
And the sad thing is he's not, they can't stereotype him. He comes from a good home with a mom and a dad. I mean, it's a real tragedy. I don't know what kind of kid he was. Might have been real good. When you're online, you're going to hear all the good shit. Yeah. It's kind of like a funeral. The biggest liars in the world go to funerals. Mm-hmm. Oh, he was a great guy. He told me that last week that some bitch owed you $50. Called him a motherfucker. But when people die, so all of a sudden he's a victim, and I get so sick of all this woke bullshit, and everything's based on skin color and race. If you haven't accomplished something in your life, it's because of you. The system is built for you to take advantage of it. Mm-hmm. If you're a person of color, you can go to college anywhere you want to go if you want to be a student and be part of that. And it's going to be taken care of. And not DEI, but if you're a black male and you test high, whatever you do, you're going to get a job because they want to hire somebody of color because they want to be diverse and they're looking for good people. The opportunity is there for you. The most prejudiced person, if that's a word, in the world is a straight white male.
Oh, yeah.
100%. I don't give a shit. Everybody says white privilege. It ain't no privilege being white. At all. If I was filling out college scholarship shit right now, I'd put on my deal African American or something else. I'd come up with something.
One of our good friends, he's looking at the promotion ladder and he's like, I'm fucked. I'm peaked. I'm done. Because every position that gets higher than me is woman, person of color.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go any higher as a straight white male. I'm fucked.
It's not fair at all. Everything should be based on merit.
It's not.
No, it's not. It's not at all. And we've gotten away from that. And did we have problems with racism in the 50s and 60s? Absolutely. We all know that. I'm not taking up for that.
It's just one of those things that the pendulum has swung too far one way.
And it ain't coming back.
I bet it will.
I don't think there'll ever be a time that a white male will be benefactor of anything because he's a white male. I don't think so.
No. I just thought you meant back to like a meritocracy.
It's so screwed up right now. And
I think we get back to a meritocracy. No, I don't want anybody to get something just based off of their skin color or their gender.
They shouldn't. It should be whoever's best.
Straight white male, if you're not qualified for the job, you're not qualified for the job.
Listen.
But if your skill set is there and you can carry the load, it shouldn't matter.
If you're a black lesbian and you can blow a goose call and you're a good hunter and you get along with people, I'd give you a job. I don't give a shit what color you are. Or where I don't. I want to hire the best person for the job.
Right.
And everybody should want to. But it's these big corporations where they're not worried about what their workers are doing work-wise and how productive they are as much as they're worried about
how they look to their buddies.
Exactly. You know what looks good? We got 73 Chinese transgender people in wheelchairs that are working for us. You only got 71. And that's just, I want the best workforce we could have. And I think everything should be that way. But there was a time in a life where people were held against because of their skin color. I'm not denying that, but we're way beyond that now.
Yeah.
But it's always an excuse. Have you seen the newest trend? This is really sick. These women are dancing around in bikinis and they've got a filter that makes them look like they have Down syndrome so they can get more follows.
Really? It's funny you brought this up.
You've been looking at Down syndrome girls in bikinis?
No, but I've talked about this with some people.
You're going to hell.
So Victoria's Secrets had a lady with Down syndrome on the cover.
Okay. Was she good looking?
She wasn't bad. Not terrible. So Victoria's Secrets objectifies this woman. But if you have sex with a special needs person, that's illegal. So Victoria's Secrets can sexualize them and objectify these people. But if something's like, ooh, yeah, she's hot. I want to date her. And you're of sound mind.
You can date her.
And sleep with her.
There's different there.
Do everything. That's taking advantage of somebody that doesn't have all their faculties. But Victoria's Secrets can come to them and they can
sexualize them.
Do this. I don't know. It just seems like a weird.
That's a very weird dynamic and a very slippery slope.
A weird thing. You can't. If you're of sound mind, you can't have sex with these people, but you can spank it while looking at them on the cover of Victoria's Secrets.
I don't even know how to. I saw this last night and I thought. Someone said, "Oh, that's sick. She's got Down syndrome." And I go, "Huh?" And I started looking. I thought, "Well, she is pretty good looking." And I thought, "Well, who the hell would come up with a Down syndrome filter to put these chicks to dance?" So I guess there's a big fetish of people out there that are looking for Down syndrome chicks.
I guess.
But I couldn't believe it. But I don't.
That's the Victoria's Secret model. Not terrible. Not my type. I like mine with a little less downs, but if you're into that sort of thing, I mean, whatever. But we can put her on the cover, but that's it.
So who's pushing this? Her mom and dad?
I had no idea.
But do you see where I'm coming from on that? Every person I know that has someone Down syndrome in their family, they're very protective of, and they're the sweetest people in the whole world. I'm telling you right now, there's nothing sweeter than a Down syndrome person. And I follow a couple of Down syndrome people on Facebook because they make me feel so good because of how good a heart they have. Yeah. One little Baker guy, he can be a little horse's ass sometimes, but they got such a good heart. Right. Put her back up there. So that chick right there, is that the same girl in all of them?
Yes.
Sophia Gerard, is it Gerard?
No clue.
But somebody is pushing that.
Right.
I mean, they really are. And how can she think? I mean, there are Down syndrome people that are working, do everything.
Maybe obviously she's working the runway.
But I don't know. I wonder how self-sufficient she is with everything in her life.
No clue.
I would look at see if you can see anything on her on anywhere on it. Just look up her name, Sophia Gerard. Yeah, and you're right about that because Victoria's Secrets is sexualizing her, putting her in a bikini or lingerie or whatever she is. But if someone put her in a porn, they'd arrest them. It's a different deal, but It's the same.
You're taking advantage of them.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm getting at. You're taking advantage of them.
4'9", Puerto Rican model. That's why. No rights down there.
I would like to know her story. Look at Wikipedia. That'll be right there. Say something a little more about her. Puerto Rico. Revealed she was in a relationship with a chef with Down syndrome who owns a food truck. Both met at her job. It was love at first sight. Well, yeah, she'd be damn sure she's a pretty lady. Good for her and good for him.
Yeah, they found each other.
That kid that was saying, when the fuck do we get ice cream? That's where he should have been chasing her.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, just a weird dynamic that I noticed. Don't know how we got on Down syndrome, but...
Well, because I was talking about the girls with the...
Oh, right. The Down syndrome filter.
Yeah. I didn't even notice she was... I just know she had a bikini on. Someone said, oh, look, she's good. They're using that down fit to get people in on them and stuff. It was on Threads or something.
Who makes a Down syndrome filter, though?
That's what I don't have a clue.
Interesting.
You know what's bad about that girl right there is? She's an attractive lady. She's pretty short, 4'11". But
4'9".
4'9". That's even shorter. Some guy is gonna a regular not straight guy. I guess a guy without Down syndrome. I don't know what the word I'd look for it. Mentally not handicapped.
A non-Down syndrome person.
Could you take her on a date, or would that be breaking? I mean,
can't make her pay for it for sure. It'd be like you took advantage.
But I mean, I'm like you though. There's no win on this. But the Down syndrome guy, he gets a free pass because if he goes out with a straight girl, or not straight girl without Down syndrome, he can do whatever he wants. Matter of fact, he's got a built-in excuse.
But he can't. She can't.
No,
she would go to jail.
That's what I mean. It's a slippery slope.
It's all weird.
So Down syndrome people could only,
I guess, date within their mental capacity. I listen. I'm tired of the Down syndrome people not being able to branch out.
Does she? What's her intelligence? Down syndrome people aren't stupid though. I mean, are they? Because I'm putting you kind of on the spot here. Or would you? So you're saying so you can't use the R word no more. Which when I was a kid, that's what I don't understand. It was a word that was common, and that's the only word I can think of that I can't say no more that I could say as a kid. That was socially accepted. So, is their IQ level way low?
I'm pretty sure, Jeff.
The kid owns a food truck.
Yeah, but what if he's just making baked potatoes?
I know some people that can't make baked potatoes or walk in the streets that are perfectly fine.
I can't find her mental age. Mental acuity, maybe?
Yeah, I'm curious to what kind of...
She has a high level of mental acuity, according to this. She has demonstrated a high level of mental acuity and determination. She successfully navigates a challenging industry, showing discipline and mental strength while also pursuing entrepreneurial ventures like her online fashion store. All of that. I don't know.
What is look up there and see if you can say mental acuity or IQ levels for Down syndrome people. I would like to know, because some of them live by themselves. I got some neighbors that can't live by themselves.
About 50.
Is there IQ level?
Compared with children and the general population who has an IQ of 100. So about half.
So would this be like dealing with Reese?
You're asking me questions I don't know. Okay, most individuals with Down syndrome have mild or moderate intellectual disability with some severe. I need to see what the average person. Average person intelligence. Because I know mine's like way up there, like almost savant level.
You can't answer this question about Down syndrome people.
Chess players are known to have shot IQ past 200. So that would probably be me. Okay.
So you've got the highest IQ in our entire family, you think?
Like, I don't like to brag, but me and Elon have a lot in common. Below average is 85 to 114. Most people fall within 115 to 129. 130 to 144 is above, and then superior is 145 and above.
I took an IQ test one time.
What'd you score?
I don't even want to tell you.
Probably pretty low.
Mm-mm.
Oh, it was high?
Yeah, I don't believe it now.
Oh.
It's like 148.
Oh.
There's no way.
I'm going to see IQ by age, and then we'll kind of...
I think everybody gets smarter as they get older.
Well, I know that. That's what I'm saying. That's why if we see 16 to 18-year-olds, average IQ is 108.
Boy, I know I hung up with a lot of people way below.
So,
and theirs is 50?
Mm-hmm. Intellectually disabled starts at 70 and goes down. If you're below a 70, you're considered intellectually disabled.
See, the high function people I know that have Down syndrome are not dumb people. They see things so different than we do. And I don't know that it's not that they're smart. Because the ones that I follow, like on Instagram and stuff, it's just Instagram and stuff, but they don't seem to be dumb people. They just are very simple. Little things make them feel, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I know some functioning adults that are not near as smart as some of those people are. And if the kid's got a food truck, I know people there's no way they can't even run a mop.
Mm-hmm. Don't get me lying. I don't have that.
That's a very interesting take on it, but that spin with the girl in the bikinis and then this girl being a model and stuff is just really weird. With Victoria's Secrets, are they doing it to try to get more Down syndrome kids wearing lingerie, or are they doing it to try to be more woke? I mean, I'm like, or did they think they were doing her a favor by putting her in a bikini and making her some money? I don't know, but it seems to me that they would be pushing something they shouldn't be pushing, probably. I don't know why you would sexualize someone with Down syndrome. Imagine some guy takes advantage of that little girl. Because there's some sick people in the world. I don't see what their end game is for this deal either.
8 to 9 years old is the average mental age of individuals with Down syndrome. Varies wildly, with the average age being around 8 or 9 years old. You could not take an 8 or a 9-year-old girl and put her on the cover of Victoria's Secrets, no matter how physically advanced she is.
Well, that girl's not 8 or 9, and she is built like
I
a woman.
understand that, but she has the mental acuity of an 8 or a 9-year-old.
I agree. I'm with you 100%. I don't think that's a good move on Victoria's Secret, and I'm surprised there's not backlash. But the other side wants to come out and say, "Well, hold on, you're holding something against her just because she has a handicap." Well, yeah,
she has the mental capacity of an 8 or a 9-year-old.
Yeah. Now,
let's say you manufactured a genetic freak in a lab, an 8 or a 9-year-old, and you made her look like whoever.
You're going to go to hell for saying this.
Sydney Sweeney.
That's who you pick up?
That's who I mean.
Right, I got you.
You couldn't do it.
No.
She might look a certain way, but she's 8 or 9 years old. You can't do that. No. And that's the same thing here.
Do you think her and Food Truck Boy have babies? Will their kids be normal?
I don't know.
I wonder if Down syndrome people, 2 Downs, can have a kid that's not a Down syndrome. Well, that would be tough. Could you imagine your parents both having Down syndrome and you have to take care of everything by the time you're 10 or 11?
Sure. Man, that's a...
Yes, we're a waterfall podcast, people.
Syndrome people.
I bet she wouldn't be locked out of her new computer.
Right. Yes. Down syndrome people can have children, and it's possible for them to have children without Down syndrome. And then by the time they're 10 years old, they're smarter than you.
That would suck for a kid. Could you imagine if one of your parents has Down syndrome, then someone should be going to jail?
But would people not be would CPS not be getting involved?
If 2 Down syndrome kids are having sex? That happens all the time.
That they had a kid.
Why would they be? I mean, you're going to rob them of having a child?
It's an unsafe environment for a kid. Is it not?
I don't know. Some of this, if the kid's got a food truck, no. He's got a damn food truck. She's a damn bikini model.
Yeah, but I think this is like
they're rare.
A unicorn.
Rare. Yes, I think probably some Down syndrome kids probably can't have kids because they couldn't function and do all that stuff. But I'm sure there are some out there that are functioning people that have families.
God bless them. God bless them. There's a 35 to 50% chance that the child will also have Down syndrome.
Yes, I don't know. Can Down syndrome people drive?
Boy, you're asking me a lot of Down syndrome questions.
Well, we're talking about, it's all started because I saw some video.
Once again, I know more about, yes, they can drive. As long as they
can get a driver's license and stuff.
Meet the requirements.
That's interesting too. I don't want to ride with Reese. Do you? And he's 10, fixing to be 11 this year. Would you want to ride with him?
We can't hold them down, Jeff.
Do you want to ride with him though?
Can't hold him down just because of mental disability.
And he's a very smart 10-year-old. But I don't want to ride in a car with him.
There is no inherent reason why someone with Down syndrome cannot learn to drive and pass the necessary test. So there you go.
That's a very interesting ending to this podcast.
Well,
but yeah, it seems to me that Victoria's Secret's made a big mistake, I would think.
I think they
did it in the right frame of mind, that they were given an opportunity to highlight and showcase this. But I don't think putting a little girl in a bikini.
Well, she's not little. She's 25 or 26.
She's 4'9". She's little.
Oh.
No, but I meant just to put a young. I don't think that's the right avenue. If they'd have put her just like in clothes,
right,
and she was modeling for that, I wouldn't have a problem with that at all.
The pajamas,
yeah, not lingerie though,
right.
But I don't think sexualizing a 25-year-old chick that's built like a 10.
No,
right idea.
This is a slippery slope to me.
And then look like she had fake hands too. Surely to God they didn't get fake hands for her.
Surely not. I don't know.
I don't think a doctor would do that.
They're paying enough.
Oh, they would. Oh, there's no doubt about it. It just that's a bad. I think you're going down the wrong path there. That's.
All right, I need to go to church now. Say some Hail Marys. Lord, forgive me.
I think sometimes in life we're going back, because back in the 1800s, 1900s, that girl would have worked at a brothel. Is what would end up happening to her. That happened.
Oh.
But I'm serious. That's the world that we lived in a long time ago, and it seems like we're starting to go backwards now against stuff. And
can't believe you said all Down syndrome people were whores.
I didn't say they all were. I said that's where she probably would have ended up back in the 18th.
Well,
late 1800s.
you're assuming a lot.
I promise you, there was some of those people that got taken advantage of like that. That's crazy world. What are you looking at?
Seeing what down people did for an occupation 200 years ago. They lived short lives. Most of them were put in institutions.
That I'm sure that's true too, though.
The few who did live in the community might have worked roles suited for their abilities, such as domestic help, simple farming, or gardening. Many were not viewed as capable of independent living or earning a living. So, a lot of them were institutionalized.
You saw Sling Blade, didn't you?
I did. I don't know what he had. Killed a guy though.
What a great job of acting. Boy, he's a good actor.
He was smart enough to know he needed to kill that fella.
Yep.
All right, we're out of here.
French fried taters.
Everybody have a great week. We love you. Bye. Watch for deer.
See ya. Peace. Thank you very much. Bye.